Hey,
Hello,
this is Kim,
this is
and
Andy.
we're going to read to you from the Urantia book. First, we got 365 Days of Walking the Red Road by Terry Jean.
Today we're going to hear from two people. The first is Cochise, who said there is a dignity about the social intercourse of old Indians, which reminds me of a stroll through a winter forest.
Wow.
Nice. And then by Eli S. Parker, a Seneca Iroquois, 1828 to 1895. Do you know or can you believe that sometimes the idea obtrudes
Obtrudes.
whether it has been well that I have sought civilization with its bothersome concomitant,
Concomitants.
and whether it would not be better even now to return to the darkness and the most sacred wilds, if any such can be found, of our country, and there to vegetate and expire silently, happily and forgotten, as do the birds of the air and the beasts of the field.
Hmm.
The thought is a happy one, but perhaps impractical. Hmm. Wow.
Impracticable. Let's look here. That was who? Let me look at
Eli
that.
Eli Parker.
Ely.
Yep. Eli Parker.
He was former United States Commissioner of Indian Affairs.
Hmm.
He died in 1895 in Connecticut.
Wow.
He was Army officer engineer. He was bilingual and became friends with Lewis Henry Morgan. So it was probably what tribe was he in?
Seneca.
Seneca.
Seneca Iroquois.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, translation by Ralph
Terry.
no,
Oh, Derek Lynn.
Derek Lynn.
Coming into life, entering death, the followers of life, 3 in 10.
The followers of life are the people who seek longevity and safety. They lead cautious lives with little risk or challenge. Their existence is usually uneventful and colorless. Some translations under 3 in 10 as some translations render 3 in 10 as one third. This alters Lao Tzu's intended meaning. If Lao Tzu wanted to express one third, he would have written 1 in 3.
Hmm.
Okay, so he's talking about 3 in 10 of the people.
Followers of death, 3 in 10.
The followers of death are the people with self destructive tendencies. They rush headlong into any situation recklessly and put their health and safety at risk.
Those whose lives are moved toward death, also 3 in 10. Why? Because they live lives of excess.
The people in the third category start out living life to the fullest and sample all the pleasures of the world. It is easy to overindulge when they do this. So soon their excesses take a heavy toll on them. Overindulgence leads to death.
I've heard of those who are good at cultivating life.
9 persons out of 10 fit into one of the three previous categories: fearful living, dangerous living, or excessive living.
Hmm.
The rare exception, the 1 in 10 minority, is the type who can transcend the predictable patterns that most people fall into. Such people live in moderation. They do not shrink from the unfamiliar, but they are also not foolhardy. They are the skillful players, not spectators, in the game of life. They are fully engaged in their interactions with the world.
heard of. Is this right?
No, traveling on the road.
Traveling on the road, they do not encounter rhinos or tigers. Entering into an army, they are not harmed by weapons. Rhinos have nowhere to thrust their horns. Tigers have nowhere to clasp their claws. Okay. Soldiers have nowhere to lodge their blades.
The road is the journey of life. Rhinos and tigers represent the hazards of daily existence, such as vicious rumors and criticisms. The army represents social competition. The weapons wielded by soldiers represent personal attacks. When we practice the art of living, none of these things can harm us.
Why? Why? Because they have no place for death.
Having no place for death means transcending fear, risk, and excess. If we can live this way, we simply have no room for anything negative or destructive.
Wonderful.
Yeah. We can achieve this by following Lao Tzu's recipe: practice moderation, use caution, and become an active participant in life.
Yes.
Okay, 10 page. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, and then we
On
have Ranch book.
paper 48, section 4, section 5. This lesson is dedicated to Kim, the Mansion World teachers.
Okay. Well, I'm just a Urantia teacher. Maybe I'll be a Mansion World teacher at some point. I don't know.
I think you will.
Okay. Okay, I'll go.
Keep going. Just go read the whole way.
I'll go to here.
Yeah. All right.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. The Mansion World teachers are a core of deserted but glorified cherubim and sanobim. When a pilgrim of time advances from a trial world of space to the mansion and associated worlds of Marancha training, he is accompanied by his personal, he or she, I think, is accompanied by their personal or group seraphim, the guardian of destiny. In the worlds of mortal existence, the seraphim is ably assisted by cherubim and sanobim. But when her mortal ward is delivered from the bonds of the flesh and starts out on the ascendant career, when the post material or Marancha life begins, the attending seraphim has no further need of the ministrations of her former lieutenants, the cherubim and sanobim. Okay, so these guys are out of a job
Hmm.
because the pilgrim of destiny, pilgrim of time, advances beyond need for them.
Mhm.
Okay, and then they become mansion world teachers.
Mhm.
These deserted assistants of the ministering seraphim are often summoned to universe headquarters, where they pass into the intimate embrace of the universe mother spirit, and then go forth to the system training spheres as mansion world teachers. These teachers often visit the material worlds and function from the lowest mansion worlds on up to the highest of the educational spheres connected with the universe headquarters. Upon their own motion, they may return to their former associative work with the ministering seraphim. There are billions upon billions of these teachers in Satania, and their numbers constantly increase because, in the majority of instances, when a seraphim proceeds inward with an adjuster-fused mortal, both a cherubim and a sanabim are left behind.
Hmm.
Right, so when we are adjuster fused, the seraphim We retain the seraphim because that's our transport. Then the
Mhm.
cherubim and seraphim are left behind on the mansion worlds.
Mhm.
Mansion world teachers, like most of the other instructors, are commissioned by the Melchizedeks. They are generally supervised by the Morancha companions, but as individuals and as teachers, they are supervised by the acting heads of the schools or spheres wherein they may be functioning as instructors. These advanced cherubim usually work in pairs as they did when attached to the seraphim. They are by nature very near the Morancha type of existence, and they are inherently sympathetic teachers of the ascending mortals and most efficiently conduct the program of the mansion world and Morancha educational system. In the schools of the Morancha life, these teachers engage in individual, group, class, and mass teaching. On the mansion worlds, such schools are organized in three general groups of 100 divisions each: the schools of thinking, the schools of feeling, and the schools of doing. When you reach the constellation, there are added the schools of ethics, the schools of administration, and the schools of social adjustment. On the universe headquarters worlds, you will enter the schools of philosophy,
Wow.
divinity, and spirituality.
Wow.
Right.
Those things which you might have learned on Earth, but which you failed to learn, must be acquired under the tutelage of these faithful and patient teachers. There are no royal roads, shortcuts, or easy paths to paradise. Irrespective of the individual variations of the route, you master the lessons of one sphere before you proceed to another. At least this is true after you once leave the world of your nativity. One of the purposes of the Morantia career is to effect the permanent eradication from the mortal survivors of such animal vestigial traits as
Oh,
procrastination,
that's my killer.
equivocation, insincerity, problem avoidance, unfairness, and ease seeking. The Mansonia life early teaches the young Morantia pupils that postponement is in no sense avoidance. After the life in the flesh, time is no longer available as a technique of dodging situations or of circumventing disagreeable obligations. Beginning service on the lowest of the tarrying spheres, the mansion world teachers advance with experience through the educational spheres of the system and the constellation to the training worlds of Salvington. They are subjected to no special discipline either before or after their embrace by the Universe Mother Spirit. They have already been trained for their work while serving as seraphic associates on the worlds native to their pupils of
Pupils.
Mansion World sojourn. They have had actual experience with these advancing mortals on the inhabited worlds. They are practical and sympathetic teachers, wise and understanding instructors, able and efficient guides. They are entirely familiar with the ascendant plans and thoroughly experienced in the initial phases of this progression career.
Hmm.
Many of the older of these teachers, those who have long served on the worlds of the Salvington Circuit, are re-embraced by the Universe Mother Spirit, and from this second embrace, these cherubim and seraphim merge with the status of seraphim. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So so they can advance through the
Oops.
embrace of the mother
That's
spirit.
it.
That's it for today.
Okay.
Yay.
All right. Well, we're gonna cook a pizza and
Watch TV.
watch TV.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye now.